Me, Elma,
Yes.
you're live.
Good day and welcome to today's troubleshooting session on company registration and name reservations. The aim of the session is to assist customers with the new upgraded e-services and BIS portal platforms. I'm Elma Pinkham from the Corporate Education Unit. In the studio with me today is Tebogo Masakali from our ICT unit. Emmanuel Manielu is struggling a bit to join, but I think he will be with us soon. He's from the companies and CC's unit. And then we have Annelien Nobela from the CIPC call center as well. Tebogo will do short demos for us. I know everybody doesn't like it, but there are other people who do not know how the system works and would want to see where they must go, what they must do. Once he's done, we are going to take your questions. You are welcome to ask questions under comments, but I want to ask, please do not post general remarks. It makes it very difficult for us as presenters to find the questions between the loads and loads of comments people post. The webinar's video will remain on YouTube and Facebook. However, I must warn you again, with the negative comments some people posted yesterday, our YouTube video has now been removed. So by doing this, you're causing more problems for other people. Please do not post negative things and rude comments and, swear words and things like that. Thank you very much. With that, I'm handing over to Tebogo. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tebogo Masakale. Today, I will be showing you how to do a name reservation and a company registration application with the CIPC. Please just give me a moment as I share my screen. Please let me know when you can see it. It should be showing now.
I can see it.
Okay, so the best way to reach our e-services and the BIS portal websites is by navigating to the CIPC website. From the CIPC website, on the top right-hand side, you will see a login button. By clicking on that button, it will direct you to all the systems that the CIPC has available. What we have just rolled out would be the e-services as well as the BIS portal. I'm going to be doing the application on the e-services, so I'm going to click continue. If you don't have a customer profile, please register by clicking on the top right hand side. I already have an account, a customer profile. I'm going to log in with that profile. You have a number of options in order to do a name reservation and a company registration. You will be looking at the business registration on the top left-hand side. By navigating onto that menu item, it will give you the options for company registration as well as name reservations. So you can either do a name reservations by clicking on name reservations on the right, and you can do a proposed name, or you can do a name reservation with association. So run this process only if you don't want to have your company and your name in the same application. Else you can do that with a company and a name in the same application by going to the previous menu and navigating to company registration. If you move to the bottom, you'll see the new registration button. I'm going to be doing a company and a name at the same time. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see you can do a company registration with a username. So if we have applied for a name reservation before, and you want to use a name that has already been approved and not expired, you will use the use approved name option. If you don't have a name that has been approved and you want to register a company and a name at the same time, you can go to the apply for a new name option. If you don't want a company with a name, you can select the register without a name option. So I will select apply for a new name. So I will select a name. At this stage, you are allowed to put in 4 names, but you don't have to. So if you put in 1 or 2, you take the risk to say if you had 1 name and it's rejected, you don't have a fall over option for other names. So it doesn't go to say that you need to put 4 names. It's up to you whether you want to put 1 or 4. So I will do a name reservation now. You'll click on the search button. So if you get a tick, the probability is that this name will go through the automatic approval process. It's not a guarantee. It might also go to the back office. So I'm also going to be showing you an example. If you have other things in this name, for example, if you put in a suffix like NPC, the system is going to tell you that this is 3 names. It will be sent to the back office for processing, and you will have to remove this suffix that is in the name reservation. So 3 names, if you select that, our business rule is that it will go to the back office for processing. So I'm going to be selecting only 2 words in my name. I will click submit. I will be presented with the company options, private company and a non-profit. I will select a private company and then click on continue. You would select an ID number of a person that should be added as a director. Alternatively, you can add a passport number. If you add a passport number, that passport must have been assured and verified by the CIPC. And you will find that option in the business registration menu and foreigner assurance. So the passport has to be approved before it can be added, before that person can be added to a company as a director. So I'm going to be adding myself as a director. And then you will click continue. We will ask you questions from Home Affairs in terms of verification. If you are married, it will ask you those details. If you are not, it will not ask you those details. So I will put in the information here. I will stop sharing for now so that I can punch in that information. I'm punching in the verification information. Clicking on verify. Okay, I'm sharing again. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the next step would be you'll click on the edit button, and if there's more than 1 director, all the directors will be listed on this page. I'm going to fill out the form, title, demographic information, email address, address, and then you can save the director details. You'll click on the continue button. By clicking on the continue button, you will be directed to the OTP page. And I'm going to then be looking for my OTPs on SMS as well as on email. Just give me a moment. Okay, I got my details. It's my SMS OTP and my email OTP. So click on verify and then continue. You will then select the company financial year end, the shares, minimum number of directors, email address of the company, web address. You can leave that blank. You can then click on the continue button. You are then at the end of the process. If you want to add another transaction, you can do so. I'm going to be clicking on pay. And then you can check out the transaction. I'm not going to approve this transaction, but you can move on to the details of your card. You punch in the details on your debit or credit card, as long as you have the CVV at the end. And you need also to make sure that your card does allow online shopping transactions. And then after you've put in these details, you'll click on payment. You'll continue to make the payment. Your transaction will be processed and you will receive your documents if your name has gone through an automatic approval process. If your name has gone to the back office, you will only receive your documents after the back office has approved your name. And that is essentially how to do a name reservation as well as a company registration application.
Thank you, Tebogo. I'm going to put up some questions, and you and the other colleagues who are in the session, I'm not even going to say this person or that person must answer. If you've got the answer, please speak up. So I'm not sure whether this is a comment. I think it may be. So I'm going to show this one. It says, I just registered a new company with an approved name, and I got 2 companies registered. First email was a K company, then immediately after another email with the correct company registered. What should the person do? Because it sounds to me like they applied for one company and they got 2 names registered.
All right, so what will need to determine is when your items were in the shopping cart, whether it was 2 items, which is a name and a company registration, or whether it was 3 items, meaning 2 company registration applications and a name reservation application. So please make sure that when you do your payment, you only do your payment for the checkout that you want to do at that particular point in time. So in that scenario, if you received more than what you paid for, please just alert us to your details and we will need to investigate that situation. Do you have more questions?
Sorry, I'm muted. The question there is, if I registered the company on my profile and ID number and I'm the only director, where can I request my MOI for free?
So to get your MOI, you would go on to business registration. You would go on to company registration. If you look at the bottom section, you will see registration certificates. You will then be able to click on any company that is not more than 1 year old. So if a company is not more than 1 year old, you'll be able to get that for at no fees. But if it is more than 1 year old, you will be required to pay 30 rands. For example, if I look at the second page, if I go into this, you'll be required to pay 30 rands. However, if you go on to company registration again, registration certificates, and I select, for example, this top one, there will be no fees. It will immediately be sent to you via email.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to put up this comment or question. I don't know if it's related or not. It says, so has the website done away with company profiles for the pay for services?
Yes, we've done away with enterprise accounts. So for the moment, we are dealing with individual profiles. Enterprise accounts will be dealt with as the second phase of the project. So for now, we do not have enterprise customer profiles.
Okay. The next question, when I want to reserve a name, at checkout point it shows a payment error. I try to pay with multiple cards, nothing works.
All right, so that will depend on when that situation occurred, whether it occurred at the time when there was high volume, when we were still optimizing the system. If that is the case, yes, we could have seen some customers experiencing timeout problems because of the volumes. We've increased our resources of the technology environment to enable more people to be concurrently connected onto our infrastructure. So if that is still happening, we will please need your details, your customer profile, so we can test and see if indeed that is the case.
Okay. Sorry, let me pull it up again. Will the banks accept the new registration documents which no longer include a core 14.1 and a 14.1A?
Yes, the banks should accept the documents, and I think that would be more of a business question. I don't know who's from business here today.
I see Emmanuel is in the session. I don't know, Emmanuel, are you aware of any of this? I know you more name reservations. I do not see Gloria. Okay. Anybody else? Annalene, do you have any knowledge about this?
No, Elma. I have no idea about this.
Okay.
So the question maybe would be, did our customer take the documents to the bank and the bank refused them? Maybe that's the follow-up question.
Yeah, I also on email had something fairly similar come up this morning from a customer who sent me copies. So I think I must just forward it to you. The documents does not include the core 14.1. So I don't know if that is a problem, but I assume in the past that was part of the documents. So what I think is we're going to move on. But what I suggest is I'll forward the email I've got to Tebogo and they can investigate for you. Then I'm going to take a question on annual returns. If I may, I know Henny is in the meeting, perhaps he can assist us. They asking when can we submit our annual returns? We had penalties that was incorrectly added. Is this fixed yet? Otterborgo, do you know?
Yes, the penalties issue has been fixed. So if customers are still receiving penalties that they should not be receiving, they must please send us the customer code and the enterprise that they are trying to do an application for an annual return, and we will have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis. As we said now, that issue has been fixed for the penalties.
Okay. This customer is saying name reservation not showing. I need this ASAP, please.
So if we can also get the customer code or the reference number of that name, we can check that for the customer. Right now, we have implemented the ability for names that have been paid for in the old system to reflect onto the new system. So we shouldn't be having that issue any longer. The issue that might be there is just the volume of transactions that we have in our back office. So because of the performance of the system, we've had quite a lot of transactions, and our back office is inundated with the quantity of transactions. So please just bear with us. Our back office is busy processing these transactions. And as soon as possible, these names statuses will be released to you.
Okay, and the next question, what if a name was reserved under the old system and I would like to use it for a new company?
If that name has not expired, you will be able to use it for a new company. So if you are the one that applied for the name, it's linked to your customer code or your ID number. You will be able to see that name when you do a application. So if you go to business registration, company registration, new registration, and then you select use approved name, you will be able to see all your names in there. So we can see, for example, these names here are 9 numbers, meaning they are from the old system. And this one here is a 6 number, it's coming in from the new system. However, you need to make sure that it has not expired. In fact, if it has expired, you will not be able to see it on the list here. So as long as it has not expired, you will be able to see it and you'll be able to select it to do your company registration.
Okay, our next question says, I propose 3 names for my business. I used 1 name. Can I still use the other 3 names?
Yes, as long as the names have not expired, you can associate them with any enterprise. So you can use them for either a new enterprise. You can also use them for an enterprise change, name change.
Okay.
You can also, as a third thing, transfer that name to somebody else.
Okay, then the next question is a bit of the subject, but they're asking unable to change director details. Is there any problems with the system regarding that at the moment?
No, so you will be able to amend director details at the moment. The issue that you may see is that if you are not a director in any organization, the list of enterprises that you're expecting to see will not pull through. And therefore, you will need to use the search functionality. And that is on the right-hand side of the screen on director amendments. So if you look at the right-hand side, you will need to search for that enterprise here. And once you've finished searching, it will be listed at the bottom section.
Okay. Then our next question, will registration of inks remain manual, and where do we submit incorporated entities? As I said, I don't see Gloria. Annelien, are you able to assist? You mute.
Yes, Elma. As far as I know, it's not active yet. So the customers are able to submit manual application for inks and NPS.
Okay.
But ink, I'm not sure if it's we normally register it as under PTY because it's a personal liability company, like your doctors. We use that format to do PTY this way.
But if they can do PTY, then it means they can do it on the e-services.
Yes.
Okay.
But the manual option is still available. They can utilize that.
Okay, they can also do the manual. Thank you.
Yes.
Then our next question, when will name reservation be processed that have been sent to the back office? I'm waiting over a week now, still no feedback.
Yeah, as I said, please be patient with us. Your name reservation applications are being addressed. We are dealing with a high volume of names in our back office. We should be seeing applications trickling through very soon.
Okay. Our next question, let me just see. I registered the company, but the MOIs came with no name, registration number, or director details.
Yeah, so we'll need to check that. If it was at a period where we were still having system issues, we'll need to check that. What our customer can do, they can go into business registration, company registration, registration certificates, and then they will be able to select any enterprise that is not more than 1 year old. They can reprint their certificate through this process, and if the email that is sent to them with the certificate still has an error, they must just please log a call with us. Any other question?
I'm not sure what happened to Alma, but the question is kindly advise what is the turnaround time for the name reservations to be approved by back office? I'm waiting since 12th January 2023.
Anyone from business?
Is Emmanuel available to answer? Maybe I must just apologize on Emmanuel's behalf. Earlier, he typed on the chat that he's struggling with his sound. I'm not sure if he can even hear the
Sorry,
conversation.
Annalyn. Yeah, I'm muted. Yeah, he's struggling with his sound, as you say. So he's from Name Reservations, Emmanuel. So unfortunately, we're struggling to get him to answer. And his colleague, Glory Malmakwe, she would have joined us from the company registration side, but she's also struggling to connect.
I see she's here. Alma?
Oh, okay, she is in the session now.
Yeah,
Okay,
Glory is in the session.
Okay, so in future we'll give her time to respond. Somebody asked, is the video
All right, it's fine, Emmanuel. I don't know what to suggest.
Sorry, Charmaine? Is it Charmaine talking? Sorry, at the moment, there's a question that says, if a video was removed yesterday, is there another platform to watch it? Yes, it's still on Facebook. It's just not on YouTube. YouTube has removed it due to the comments we received. Okay, the next question, it says, please advise on the status of manual name reservations submitted in October last year. No feedback has been received. When can we expect the manual name reservation system to resume working?
Yeah, business question.
I don't know,
please.
Glory, are you able to assist us with this question? It seems we can't hear. Sound is working, but Glory, can you sit closer to your mic? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's a bit
Can you hear me?
better. Now we can
Yeah.
hear you, yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is that Emmanuel will be in a better position to respond to this.
Yeah, but the
question.
problem is Emmanuel's sound is not working.
Yeah.
So then we just add it to our frequently asked questions. We'll respond on it there.
Yes.
So I'm going to skip this one on our question again on time. Somebody's asking, we must just explain again, what is the back office? The back office is the staff of CIPC who work on things like manual applications, and in case of names, the system can approve most names automatically, but in some instances, then when it's a more difficult application, it goes to the back office, they investigate the name before they decide whether it can be approved or not. So back office is just referring to our staff members. Okay, our next question, let me see. Sorry if I'm repeating questions, but the Borgo, it says I can't get OTPs on all the directors and it's not sent on both email and SMS.
We had issues of our MTN link being down, and that could have contributed to the directors not receiving the OTPs. But our link is now stable, so if our customer can run that application again, they should be able to receive OTPs. Our link is stable now.
Okay. Then our next question, will the system allow for name change applications to be resumed after the OTPs have been received? Currently, it only allows new applications.
Yes, so name changes will be allowed. So because of the OTPs not being sent due to networking issues, that would have been the reason why OTPs were not received. So customers can continue with that process. They should be receiving OTPs now.
Okay. The next question, please also show us the registration of a non-profit company. Thanks. Is that possible that you could do that, Borgo?
Say that again, please.
They're asking that you demo a non-profit company registration.
All right, so a non-profit, you need, okay, I don't have 3 people I can use, but it will be exactly the same process. You would go to company registration, new registration. What is important about NPCs is that you need to make sure that you have an approved name before you can do an NPC. So for an NPC, you cannot apply for a name and do that application at the same time. And you also cannot register without a name. So you need to go to the used approved name section. I will choose this one, for example, and there you'll choose NPC. How will the directors be appointed? You'll make an option. The main objective, you'll make an option. You'll click on continue. You would put in a minimum of 3 directors. So I don't have other ID numbers here, so I'm not gonna use that option. So what I can try to do is to do this. You put in the first director. I'll choose the second director as a non-resident. Okay, let me try 56. We'll put in the second director. Let me see if I have one. Just give me a second. Okay, let me see if I have another passport. Okay, unfortunately, I don't have another third person I can use. So you'll have to select the third person who will be a director in the NPC. You'll continue and you'll start filling in all the contact details of all the 3 directors. You'll be directed to the OTPs of all the 3 directors, and then you'll be directed to the section where you fill in the NPC's information, and then after that it will be payment. Thanks.
Thank you. If I can put the next question, let's see. Please advise payment error when I want to lodge a name reservation.
Yeah, so if there is a payment error, the customer must please try again, because our systems are a bit more stable now from our MTN link being down. So they can try that again, and also they need to ensure that their cards are authorized for online transactions.
Okay. I'm just going with the questions, whether they all relate to today's topic, I don't know. This one says, I'm unable to edit information on the actual director's profile on their CIPC login, as the entity they are listed as a director doesn't appear on their profile.
Yeah, say that again. I missed quite a bit of it.
Okay. The person said, I'm unable to edit information on the actual director's profile on their CIPC login, as the entity they are listed as a director doesn't appear on their profile.
Okay, so they will need to use the search functionality, and you will find that search functionality on the right hand side of director amendments. So they will need to put in an enterprise here. So for example, let me take this one. It's fine now. Let me take this one. So if you have your enterprise number, you can just type it out there, click on the search button. Enterprise will then be listed at the bottom section of your screen. You will then be able to file an application.
Okay. Then our next question, it says, hi, please confirm if the special characters are now all functional. Previously, they were not all working. I think what Krista previously said was that there's a list of special characters one can use. and they will be monitoring it because it's still a very new thing. We didn't allow it on the old system. So yeah, some of them are available. Please just check. I'm sure it's part of a frequently asked questions and the step-by-step guide.
Yes, the special characters are available and they are listed on the right-hand side of your name reservation screen. All these applications will go to the back office for processing.
Okay, great. So it's even on the screen when you're doing the name. The next question says existing approved name reservations on previous e-services is not pulling through on the new platform.
All right, that issue has been resolved. If it persists, may we please get the details of the customer code, reference numbers, etc., so that we can assist.
Okay, the next question says, dear CIPC, this one has to be attended very soon. I tried yesterday to apply for a refund on my customer balance. I locked the ticket and I started capturing the requested details. However, when I have to upload the requested, the system rejected it. And I deposited the funds to file annual returns. Please assist. Okay, I think we'll have to deal with this one as well on the frequently asked questions because I don't think we have anybody from finance here. I just want to mention, whilst we're having it up, at the end of the session, perhaps I can just share some screenshots regarding the refund process. Yesterday, we were still saying people must use the refund process that is available under banking details on our website. Apparently, this is not the case. As the customer is saying, yeah, one will, like when you log a query, go to the query system. The option comes up for a refund. So you choose it, you complete your banking details, the balance will appear there, and then you upload the required documents, which is your bank statement, your ID, and proof of payments that you've done to the account, and then you submit it. But as I say, we will make finance aware as well of this specific question. Thank you. Our next question then. Let's see this one. Company registration for external companies. Do we still follow the manual registration process and email the application? If yes, please advise how payment will be made. Please confirm. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another question for business.
Yeah, with external company, we're still using the manual processes, and then the funds are to be deposited on the customer account.
Okay.
Same
So
way that
must,
it's been done. They
yeah,
are not at this stage.
Okay, so people can still use their customer codes to, deposit funds to the CIPC account for manual applications. So the manual applications are continuing. It's still the same process that you used before.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Somebody's asking, got married, why ID of spouse? That's a Borgo.
Yeah, please just say that again. I missed that. You broke off.
Somebody says they got married, but why do they need the ID of a spouse?
Yeah, so it's just that extra verification layer. So only you would know the ID number of your spouse, and therefore you have confirmed to say you are who you say you are. So this is just a verification process to confirm that you are the person that you say you are.
Okay, in the case where somebody is not married, they won't get this question, I assume.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Then the next one, we are unable to authenticate email to change the name via email due to the issue. Urgent help needed for this. So they're saying we are unable to authenticate email to change the name via email due to this issue. I'm not very clear.
Yeah, I'm not quite clear as well. So, but what we have done is we have simplified our customer login process. So, if you have been able to utilize the old system before, you should be able to log in without any friction. And you should be able to continue with your name change application or any other application that you want to do. Uh, However, if you are not seeing any names on your profile, of which there are names that have not expired and names that you know have been approved, then please just log a ticket with us and we'll have to look at why you cannot see those names.
Okay, thank you. Let's see the next question. I did a name reservation. It said it will be sent to the back office. It's been 4 days now and I've not received any email from CIPC to confirm if a name reservation was approved or not. Does this mean I have to do the name reservation again?
No, so the customer does not have to do it again. The name is in the back office, it is in process. We are just requesting for our customers to be a bit patient with us.
Okay. A person says, we notice when we log in that the My Enterprises display on the dashboard reflect entities that are no longer applicable and resigned entities. Is this going to be fixed?
Okay, I will need an example of that. So if a customer is a director in any entity, that entity will display on the profile of the customer. So even if the customer has resigned, that history will be kept. So it doesn't go to say that the person is an active director of the business. So there's no legal requirements or fiduciary duties attached to that person if they have resigned. So by virtue of that enterprise displaying on their profile does not necessarily mean that there is a fiduciary obligation. So it is just displaying the history. And if there is any further issues in terms of the customer saying that they were not a director in that enterprise, then that is there's a process that should be followed to lodge a petition with the CIPC to say that you were never a director in that enterprise. Then that procedure should be followed so that you are removed. Yes, any other questions?
Sorry, my mic was muted. The question is, what if a person is divorced and it still gives the same question?
Yeah, so if you are divorced, you still will have the date that you were married, which is on your marriage certificate. So you will have to provide that information.
Okay, there is a comment which says, please note that our clients say that to ask their date of marriage / spouse ID number is invading of their privacy and that the spouse does not have anything to do with the company. I think the people are misunderstanding. They write it has nothing to do with the company. It's verifying the person's information. I think somebody have got their sound on. Can they just mute themselves if it's not their turn to speak, please? So yes, it's about the verification of a person and not about that they that the spouse has anything to do with a company. Manuel, I think you must just mute yourself, please. Then let's see. I see people ask questions about turnaround times. I think they must just check on our website for turnaround times, because there are times listed and the times have not changed. Let me see, what does this question say? You have backlogs, name reservations. Can you capacitate the unit and stop teaching us on basic systems? Yeah, that one I'm not going to entertain. Yeah, there's more questions why it's taking long for name reservation and more on, on people's spouses' details. Let's see this one. I would like to register a holding company, but have an existing company. Can I make the second company a holding company even though the registration is done later? Glory, could you help us with that one?
Magda, the question is not very clear. Can you put it on frequently asked question? Then I will respond to the customer.
It's fine, we'll do that. My colleagues just let me know I mustn't say the turnaround times is still the same due to the backlog, so we can't give specifics on that right now. Let me see this question. Is disability, demographics, etc. compulsory information? Tebogo? And I just
Please,
yeah, okay,
please
no, yeah, if I can repeat it, is disability, demographics, etc. compulsory information?
No, it is not compulsory. So you can continue without answering those questions. However, we encourage you to answer those questions because we use this information for statistical purposes. Statistics South Africa also utilizes this information to determine the health of enterprises, the movement in the country.
Glory, this one, how do I combine two companies and make the other one a subsidiary? If I'm not wrong, this is not a CIPC process. It's only to do with structuring, which the company does themselves, and if necessary, use professional people who have more knowledge about it. Am I right?
Yes, Magda, you are right.
Okay, thank you. So you're not going to do any application at CIPC to create subsidiaries. That is just a structuring matter that the company does themselves. So best would be to discuss it with like accountants or auditors. Then our next question, let me see. Here and there I'm going to skip some because it seems it sort of repeats. This is just a comment. It says, please contact us before deregistering our company. Some of us are losing money on tender bids, hence we sometimes can't get our companies to work, but that's just a comment. I know the system is giving problems with annual returns at the moment, but we hope it will be fixed soon. So I think the main thing with deregistration is to make sure you do pay your annual returns on time. There's a comment, Tebogo, that says reset password function does not work. Is that so?
So we will need more information. So I did a password reset this morning and I received my OTPs. So if we can get the customer code of the customer, we should be able to check what the issue is there.
Okay. I'm just going to continue. I'm just searching for some They're just asking again whether OTPs are valid for 48 hours.
Yes, OTPs are valid for 48 hours.
Okay. They also asked we must repeat what was said about lodging name reservations when the site says, please note that this name will be sent for back office processing.
So what that means is that the name will not go through the automatic approval process. We have a name search engine that determines whether a name should go through an automatic approval, which means you will get it now. It will be approved now by the system itself. And it will also determine if the name is supposed to be sent to our back office for processing. So there are certain rules that are used. For example, if you put special characters in a name, that name will need to be searched by our back office before it can be either approved or rejected. So the purpose of that message is to alert you to say that you will get that you will not get that name immediately, but it has to be touched by a human being. It will not go through an automatic approval process by the system.
Okay. I just want to make everyone aware, our communications unit will look at the video of yesterday that was removed from YouTube to see if they can edit it and repost it on YouTube. They'll try their best with that. But in the meanwhile, it is still available on Facebook. I'm taking the questions as they are more or less in the order, so some might be repeats. I cannot do a name reservation. It indicates back office processing, and when we want to pay, constantly gives us a validation error.
So we'll need to see an example of that. Maybe if they can send us a name that they are trying to apply for, we will have a look, try it on our side, and we can have a look and then advise.
Okay. Then there's this question, unable to change director details, please assist.
Yeah, so I think if you are not a director, I think that's where probably that question is emanating from. If you are not a director in the company, you will need to search utilizing the search function on the right-hand side of director amendments, and then you will be able to file a director amendment. So I'm not sure what problems the customer is facing. So please, if the customer can provide us more details, we will be able to give an answer that is more accurate.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to post this one, which is asking why is the core 14.1 not under MOI documents? I have sent this query through to our ICT to look into it, and I think we'll deal with it as well on the frequently asked questions. So we are looking into it. I can't give you an answer right now. How can you go back to the application to put in the OTP at a later stage?
Yeah, so for a director amendment, you can do that at a later stage. However, for a company registration, you will have to get those OTPs immediately. So you cannot close your screen until you get the OTPs. Director amendments works a bit differently because we send you a link in which all the directors can access and provide the OTPs. So at this stage, you will need to call all the directors and get those immediately. So you should be in a position to say when you are doing a company registration, you put all the directors on standby so that they can give you the OTPs.
Okay. The next one said, do you have to enter both OTPs? It states only one, but doesn't accept only one.
Yes, all OTPs need to be captured and OTPs of all directors need to be captured. So if the other directors did not receive the OTPs, the customer should please then just confirm that the directors have the correct contact information. Else, it could have been the customer was doing the application at the time that our MTN link was down. So they can please try that again, and hopefully they will be successful today because MTN link is stable.
Okay. I've skipped a few questions because I think they've just been answered. There's one here. I don't receive my email OTP when trying to change my company name, but do receive it when doing other stuff on CIPC website. Tebogo, should they log a query with screenshots or something?
So I think it will depend on whether is this customer the only director in the enterprise. And if they are not, then the other directors also need to provide the OTPs. So we need more information there to determine if they are the only director and their contact details are the same, then we need to dig a bit further. But if they are not the only director, then the other directors need to provide their OTPs.
Okay, the next question. Can a few transactions be kept in the shopping cart and all paid at one time?
Yes, the few transaction can be kept as long as you pay by 12 o'clock at night. That would be fine. So if you don't pay by 12 o'clock at night, the items will be removed from the cart.
Okay. There's a question here, Glory. How do I submit a customized MOI? Is it a manual transaction?
Yes, with this one, you submit it manually on company docs email address.
Okay, so it will also be paid still with the customer code system.
Yes.
Declining balance. Okay.
Yes.
Trying not to do repeat questions. So if I'm skipping your questions, probably because I think it might have been answered already. There's a question here that says, must the documents be stamped by the Commissioner of Oath? It's not clear which documents though. But I assume when they upload documents, does all documents have to be certified?
I think that's a business question.
Glory?
Yes, for foreigner assurance verification, the passport must be certified.
Okay. And they're also asking, how do I submit customized MOI?
Yeah, it's the same one that we have responded to via manual submission.
Okay. So they're going to email documents. Okay. At the moment, due to backlogs, it's not easy to say precisely how long some of these transactions take to come back. So I'm not going to put up that question. Let me just go on. There's something again on demographics. Why is the demographic information required? And like many other platforms, no option provided for people who choose not to answer. Tebogo, do they have the option?
Yes, they have the option. But our plea is that please can they answer that? Because this information is being used for statistical purposes, so that we are able to share this information with Statistics South Africa.
Okay. I think we're not going to give a detailed answer, but the question is, why did the payment process get changed though? I think it's because we're not a deposit-taking institution, so it's not good to take deposits if you're not registered for that. So we rather have people pay with their cards. We also found that lots of people make mistakes when they make deposits. Then they again have to, submit documents to get funds changed to their names and so forth. So there were lots of problems experienced by our finance unit with the system as it was. So I think we'll have less problems with the card system. They're asking here, Glory, how can a third party obtain the MOI core 14.3?
With this one, you need to go via the disclosure unit.
So they must go via the disclosure unit.
Yes.
Okay. So how do they do that?
There is a process on the website how to request the MOI.
Okay, how they must do it. Okay, so please check our website. I just must see this something about credit cards. Can you only pay with credit card going forward and not with a customer balance anymore? That is correct. Not only a credit, also a debit card, I think. As long as you can do online transactions with your card, you can use it. The customer code declining balance system is no longer used on e-services and it's not used on BIS portal. It's only used for manual transactions. They're asking here also, how will the registration of an external company work? Glory?
External companies are still being processed manually by completing the score 20.1 together with supporting document. There is a step-by-step guide on the website on how to complete external company registration successfully. So once all that completed together with supporting document, you email document on a PDF format to companydocs@cipc.co.za. Then it will come to the back office to be allocated a tracking number and be processed. Then once it's registered, the customer will receive a confirmation via email address.
Okay, thank you. Let's see this question. If you pay in the basket and it says paid successfully, it still remains in the basket and you don't get the documents. Why is this? Should they also log a query and give screenshots?
Yes, please. It will assist us to find exactly what the problem is. So right now, we wouldn't be able to determine that without the customer code, for example, and the reference numbers.
Okay, there's another question once again on the spouse's details. What happens if there's an error with home affairs in respect of a marriage? I suppose date that was registered. How will we get past the section if a date we insert is not taken by the system, but the date is correct as per the client? I think they must go back to home affairs and let home affairs fix whatever is wrong in their system, I assume. Is that correct, Borgo?
So the date will be correct as per the certificate. So you could get married today.
Yeah, but what they're asking, I suppose, is where you complete your spouse's details. Now, there's some other error on their ID regarding the date of the marriage. So if I put in the date which they were really married, then it shows as incorrect. But to me, it means that they must go to Home Affairs because Home Affairs must fix it on the computer system.
So my advice is please use the marriage certificate. Don't use the date that is not in the marriage certificate.
Yeah, that's the other options to use, even if it's the incorrect date, but what Home Affairs has, because we link to Home Affairs.
Yes.
There's a question, the system doesn't accept our CVV when we try to make payment. So it's the 3 numbers at the back of a card. What should they do, Tebogo?
Yeah, please confirm with the bank that your card is authorized for online payments. And if the bank says yes, then we will need to test that on our side. So please check with your bank first and then log a ticket if your bank says yes, it is authorized and it still doesn't work.
Okay, this question, how does it work when you register a company as a third party?
Well, it is the same process. You can register a company. The only difference is that you will not be a director in that company. So the important things is to make sure that you select who the incorporator is and you also select who the directors are. So if you're a third party, you will not be a director in that company. You can still proceed with the application. The directors will get the OTPs. You will request the OTPs from the directors and you can proceed to capture and to finally make a payment.
Tebogo, they ask, can we also talk about new e-services when applying for name reservation of cooperatives? It's not working. What is the situation there?
Okay, we'll also have to see an example. Name reservation is working. I'm seeing cooperatives applications currently being processed. So if the customer is trying to apply for a name and is not going through, can they just please provide us with more details, send us the name that they are trying to apply for, and then we can test it on our side as well.
Okay, but they lock a query with screenshots.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just... Somebody asked if you can demonstrate how they do it when there's a third party registering a company.
Okay, I don't think we should go through that again. So it will be exactly what I did.
Okay.
It will be exactly what I did. The difference is that you are not going to add yourself as a director.
Okay. This one I'm just putting up because I see quite a few of them again that says their items keep on returning to the cart. So they can just send it through to our ICT with screenshots that they can check for you. Sorry, I'm just trying. Let's see, after making a payment, the money wasn't taken from my account. What must I do?
I think the first point of contact is your bank. Please confirm with your bank that your card is authorized for online payments.
Thank you. Then can your account still be funded to make payments, or do payments not have to be made in real time via credit card?
We are no longer using declining balances on this system. So declining balance will only work for transactions which are not available on e-services. So for such as external companies. So you can't file an external company on e-services, and therefore that will still go through the manual process. With the manual process, you will need to fund your account, and you can continue with your applications. But this new system, it is no longer using funded accounts. So we request, if you are not going to use the funds that are in your account, then you need to apply for a refund.
Okay.
And I mean, if you are not going to use the funds for manual processes, then you can apply for a refund.
Okay. This one says we need the reference in shopping cart as well, previous transactions to show the company name. It doesn't So we can't track which client requests what afterwards.
So the shopping cart does show a reference number. So you will be able to pick that up from the cart. However, you will not be able to see that this transaction is for X customer, this one is for B customer. So you will have to keep a record of that outside of the system. So you will need to take that reference number associated to your client outside of the system. The system will not be able to do that for you.
Okay. They're asking, why do we need the email OTP? The director asked for the OTP was on a building site and not near his PC for email OTP. You can see why the SMS OTP, we can see why the SMS OTP, because everybody got their cell phones with him. So you could only see the one, not the other one.
Yeah, so my advice, please make sure when you are lodging an application for a company that the directors are in a position to give you their OTPs.
Okay. This one is asking, on the payment page, I can't delete the item in the cart which is incorrect. So now I want to register a company today and then I have to wait 24 hours for my card to reset.
Yeah, so you can delete, let me just show an example. If I go to business registration, company registration, certificates, that's 30 rands. I will choose one more than 1 year. This will go into my cart. So what you can do is when you get into this, you can just delete these items. And then when you check out, you will only be paying the 30 rands that you have just left in the cart. So we can see our total amount is 30 rands. By deleting those items, you will still pay only the amount that you've left in the shopping cart.
Okay. Your next question, when I log in, it always displays validation failure. Why is this?
So we had an issue with some customer profiles that were migrated from the old system. So that issue is now resolved. So the customer should be able to log in now without any friction. So if they are still seeing login problems, they must just please log a ticket, give us their customer code, and we will be able to investigate it.
Thank you. Then the next question, does the directors being appointed first have to register an account with CIPC when registering them as a director of a new company, or only when you make changes to their contact details?
So they will only be required to be registered for a customer profile with the CIPC if their email and telephone number changes. Other than that, they do not need to have an account with the CIPC.
Okay. Let's see what this one says. I have the same as the question of two companies, because first when I tried to pay, it did not take the payment, but when I did it again, it did too.
Yeah, so please just confirm that you delete items that you don't want to pay for, and then you can make your final payment.
Okay. This one's asking, the basket is empty after we paid. If you log back in, then it is okay. That one we've done before, so I think I'm going to take it off. People keep on asking, we must demonstrate another third party registering a company. And let me just see what this one says. As a third party, will the confirmation of registration be sent to my registered email or to the listed directors?
It will be sent to the person that is submitting the application. So the filer, that's the person that will get the documents.
Okay. Businesses, am I able to leave a registration and return without requesting new OTPs? Now I have all the OTPs, but it won't refresh. Can I go out and go back in?
No, so you'll have to stay on that page until you get your OTPs.
Okay. I think there's more similar questions here. They're also asking, once registration is finalized, will it automatically be registered for income tax with SARS?
Yes, that's correct. We are linked to SARS, so that's an automatic process. So when you get your registration certificate, it will have the tax number on it.
Okay. Is it possible to do a conversion from a CC to a company on behalf of a director?
Yes, Alma, it is possible.
Okay. Then the next one is asking, how do I find my transaction history? Can you just show us that and explain what they will be able to find, Hoho?
Yeah, so if you go to your transaction history, you'll need to be on your dashboard, okay? And then you navigate to customer transactions. You will see only transactions that required a fee. So you can click your start and end date. So I will start maybe 1 November up to today. If you click continue, it will show you all transactions that you have done on the system that you have paid for. Transactions that you have not paid for, they will not be listed. So this is only payment-based transactions.
Okay, does it mean they can choose between any two dates?
They can choose between any two dates for a period of 12 months.
For 12 months, okay, maximum. Let's see what this one says. How do we as practitioners lodge MOIs as we used to email it?
Business?
Glory?
Still the same process. They must email it.
Nothing has changed. It's still the same. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to see. Getting again this question, if my company name was registered under the old system, how do I use it to register a new company?
So if your name has not expired, it is still valid. It will show when you navigate to business registration, company registration, new registration, and then you select apply for a company with the name, existing name. So if it doesn't show, please then just send us the reference number and then we'll be able to check.
Okay. The businesses are registered two companies, but they came back with no directors and MOI came blank.
Say that again, please.
Sorry, let me just see. I registered two companies, but they came back with no directors and MOIs came blank. So the MOIs were blank as well as the space for the directors.
Okay, so the customer can navigate to business registration, company registration. That is only if they are a director, then they will follow this process, registration certificate. Then their company will be listed here. If it is not listed here, they'll be able to search for it down here. They can try regenerating that certificate through this process. If it still has empty information, please send us that enterprise number. We will then check why it's pulling empty credentials for your certificate.
Okay. Let's see. This person is asking, I just want to know if I can open a company, an NPO, and give it a name. Is it possible to open another company under the NPO company name? So I'm not sure if it's an NPO, but they also want to register an NPC, or is it the NPC they're referring to?
Elma,
Do you mind?
you can put it.
Glory, can you try and sit closer to your mic? We barely can hear you.
Okay, with this one, you can put it under frequently asked questions so that we can respond and have a follow up or clarity on it because it's not clear.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to find questions we haven't answered as yet. Okay, because many are very much the same questions. One person is asking, my MOI has an error on it every time I try to download it. I think please log a query for that one. They will look into it. Earlier, there seemed to be questions also regarding auditors, but I don't see them now. I actually hope to put up one or two of them that we can also just respond to those. So sorry if I'm taking time to quickly scroll through the questions to try and find one of those. And somebody, I don't think we've got somebody, perhaps Annelien can help us so long with this one. How does the deregistration process work? We used to email them. Annelien? It's still the
Yes,
same?
the process is still the same. It hasn't changed.
Okay, great. Tebogo, I see lots and lots of people asking if you can't demonstrate again how to register a company as a third party. So whilst I'm scrolling here, if you
All
can
right.
just explain it to them again.
Okay, let me do that. Just give me a sec.
Okay. Whilst you're at that, I just want to quickly put up a question which asks, if I register a business on somebody's behalf, can I use the banking details for payment? So can I use their banking details for payment, or should it be the person's banking details which is doing the registration? So are they allowed to use the customer's banking details instead of their own?
Yes, it's not banking details, it's the card details. So if the customer has authorized or your client has authorized you to use the card, then you can go ahead.
I assume they'll have to have a card with him and let the customer perhaps type in the details. That would probably be the safest. That the client, the customers don't give him their banking information.
Yes, because they will have to provide the OTP anyway, so the customer would need to approve the OTP. Yeah. Okay. Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm logged in as myself. Let's pretend I'm a third party. You will go under business registration, company registration. This time I will do a company without a name, new registration, register without a name, private company, continue. You put in the ID number. Let me do it this way. Test 6. The passport of this person. Will continue. You'd edit their details. So you'll notice that I'm not a director. This person is a passport holder. They are the director. So you are going to make this person an incorporator. Okay, you'll save the details. You continue. So you'll provide the OTPs. You'll notice that it didn't ask me for those Home Affairs details. Just give me a second. I need to reconnect to my VPN.
Sorry, whilst you're busy, Tebogo, can I quickly jump in with a question? I hope Henny can assist us with this one. It says, can I ask about auditor changes, please? Is it just IRBA as I have a SICA registered auditor? Now, I assume, can they register somebody from IRBA, or is it just SICA who can register, whose auditors can be registered? Henny?
I'm not sure about that. I only deal with the financial statements via XPRL, not with auditor changes.
Okay, but I can't think that we would only allow one of the bodies to have auditors. If they have auditors, then they should be allowed to register, but we can try and answer that also on the frequently asked questions.
Okay, then you can put in the company information. Continue. You'll pay. So you'll notice that there are two items. You can delete this one that you don't want to pay for. You'll be left with the 125. You will check out, put in your card details, and that's it. That's how, as a third party, you will do a company registration for your customer. So the certificate will come to you, then you can forward that to your customer.
Okay, are you done, Tebogo, or are you still busy?
No, I'm done. I'm not going to pay for this one.
Okay, this one I also want to ask Henny quickly. The uploading of AFS in XBRL format, is it working again?
Yes, it is. We had issues with, excuse me, the filing of AFSs, but it does allow filing now, and I've got a number of confirmations from customers who previously couldn't do it. And the second point I want to make is we found that people, after they managed to upload the AFSs in XPL, that the process got stuck of annual returns. They couldn't proceed. And that has now also been resolved. So I've also had a number of confirmations today of customers who managed to finish the whole process, do the calculation of the fees, do the payments, etc. So yes, annual financial statements do work at the moment.
Okay. I think we've come to the end of our session. I'm sorry if we haven't answered all the questions, but there are so many. I want to make people aware we are planning to host a webinar around annual returns on Monday, because I see there were many questions related to annual returns. So please join us Monday for that webinar. Tomorrow will also be an open session, meaning you can come with any type of applications with queries. I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope it has been of some assistance to you, and I hope to see you in our next broadcast. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, they don't close me. I'm still at 12 o'clock.